Coming up on Fulton Today.
I don't look back at myself as being this horrible person because I knew that I was only a kid and that I was taken advantage of.
A survivor of human trafficking tells her story, hoping to save lives as advocates take their fight to the Capitol. We'll explain. And we'll take a detailed look at the county's 2016 budget and how your tax dollars will be spent. Fulton Today starts right now. Welcome to Fulton Today, everyone. I'm Shania Chavis-Rucker. Georgia legislators have been at work for about 3 weeks at the Capitol for what is expected to be a fast-paced session. And already they have heard from advocates who are working on behalf of human trafficking victims. FGTV's Priscilla Ortega has our story.
The Anti-Trafficking Council, led by the organization YouthSpark, came here to the Capitol to thank legislators for passing the Safe Harbor bill last year. Now that legislation protects exploited children from being charged as criminals. But now the Anti-Trafficking Council, including those who are directly impacted by human trafficking, are raising awareness about another hurdle.
All I knew was that someone had my daughter, and I just needed to know what was going on.
With tears running down her face, a mother whose teenage daughter was lured into human trafficking is joining YouthSpark to raise awareness about SR 7.
Well, YouthSpark gave me the education that I needed because, like I said, I didn't know anything about this. So they gave me the education that I needed in order to get a better understanding of what was going on.
Because lawmakers passed the Safe Harbor bill last year, this November's voters make a decision about the Safe Harbor Fund. If approved, the fund will tax adult entertainment establishments $5,000 a year to help human trafficking victims and survivors.
A lot of people may say this is not fair to tax certain, industries. But at the end of the day, we feel like that our children should be everybody's responsibility. And if you have a platform in which this may happen or that it may promote it, we believe that you should be passionate enough to help with the solution.
The Anti-Trafficking Council is now raising awareness to legislators and voters about how those funds would make the community safer.
A lot of times when I speak to people or educate groups about trafficking, they will say, well, it's not happening in my community. And I have to give them that second look and say it's happening in a lot of communities, even when you think that it's not.
The Anti-Trafficking Council will be back at the Capitol next week to raise awareness about the Safe Harbor Fund. Now, FGTV also talked to a human trafficking survivor who is now working with YouthSpark. We will hear her story coming up a little later in the show. Reporting from the state capitol, I'm Priscilla Ortega for FGTV.
Thank you very much, Priscilla. Meanwhile, justice programs, public safety, and transportation take a big chunk of the 2016 budget. All of these are considered key initiatives of the Board of Commissioners. FGTV's Felicia Church has our story.
For weeks now, citizens have weighed in on how they would like to see their tax dollars spent.
Good morning. My name is Sarah McKinney. I'm a parent of the parent of a 44-year-old son who receives services here in Fulton County, North Fulton County.
I ask that you continue to fund the senior centers because of how much life they give our senior community. As you know, Fulton County's community of seniors is growing. We're getting older and we need assistance.
Thank you for your continued
After listening to residents' requests, the Board of Commissioners approved a $669 million general fund budget. The spending plan focuses on services for citizens outlined in the county's new strategic plan. About 40% of the budget will be used for a justice reinvestment initiative, along with funds for new police officers and body cameras. $20 million of the spending plan will be used for infrastructure areas like government offices and facilities, technology improvements, and transportation projects like Brownfield.
County managers challenged myself and
the rest of the team, including Al Nash, to make sure that the airport is an attractive place to do business. We want to make sure that we've got the best tenants out there. We want to make sure we have a facility that's well maintained and kept up. And we've got a lot of deficiencies now in the airport. We want to make some more investments out there. In fact, Doug and I are going to be meeting with Georgia DOT in the near future, try to see if we can do something about one of the runways. And a lot of improvements need to be made out there, obviously, but we have one thing in favor of for us. We've got location.
The County Parks and Recreation Department will also benefit by getting a new security program. There is even funding for a plan to address a salary increase for permanent and full-time employees, all designed to make sure all elements in this strategic plan are covered.
This is very exciting as a government to have specific strategic initiatives, targets, and benchmarks and performance indicators, because we want to make sure that the resources that we have are going to deliver programs and services to generate impact.
Reporting for FGTV, I'm Felicia Church.
Thank you very much, Felicia. Now, if you want to take a look at the 2016 budget, you can go to the Fulton County website at fultoncountyga.gov. Future homeowners get important information about the home buying process. Cooperative Extension agents and ClearPoint Credit Counseling Solutions held an 8-hour workshop on the subject. The topics range from financial counseling to how to get assistance with your down payment.
I really encourage anyone who's even thinking about buying a home to do, not just with me, but with anyone, do one of these home buyers workshops and look for the 8-hour HUD-approved course. That's the one that most down payment assistance programs require you to take.
Satterfield says the housing market is rebounding and more people are looking for homes.
I am thinking about buying a home at the end of this year.
I'm here today to learn more about, just the loan process, the different steps that are involved, and just the different components, such as home insurance, the different components of the mortgage itself, whether it's the principal, the interest, PMI, and things of that sort.
ClearPoint's curriculum complies with the Department of Housing and Urban Development's HUD requirements for the Neighborhood Stabilization Program. Well, as we've all experienced, those temperatures have been dropping and many people are looking for safe ways to stay warm. Well, here are a few tips. Before you light up the fireplace and turn on the space heater, the fire department has some important safety information. If you are lighting up the fireplace, Deputy Fire Chief Jack Butler recommends you get an inspection first.
Take a look at your chimney as far as any buildup creosote, any cracks or things that may be in the fireplace lining itself.
The chief says to also make sure that the wood is dry. He says the best type of wood to burn is hardwood like pine. And if you're using a space heater, the chief says this.
Make sure you're purchasing one that has a UL rating. You want to make sure your cords and things are not frayed. The slogan with space heaters is space heaters need space too, so you want to keep 3 feet around the space heater all directions.
Fire officials say make sure you have a working smoke alarm and practice a home escape plan with your family. Identifying major creeks and waterways is now a lot more convenient and easy thanks to the county's transportation team. They've installed bridge markers along almost every creek that crosses county roads for both motorists and emergency crews. Drivers and public safety officials welcome the change.
Recently got some phone calls saying thank you for those signs. Now finally we can see where this bridge is, where this structure is. Also for 911, for any accidents that occurs, you can call and actually go right there to the point and don't have to be lost or where you were supposed to be going.
The transportation team maintains more than 600 miles of roads and about 48 bridges. And still to come, Atlanta business leaders detail future plans for success. It's a part of our district by district coverage next. Fulton engages dozens of business-minded professionals in the county, and the legacy of an Atlanta icon is remembered. Here's this week's district by district coverage. We begin with Chairman John Eves as he joins the National Black MBA Atlanta chapter for a conversation about our city, our chapter, and our future. That was the theme of the panel discussion at the Georgia Pacific Auditorium, where the members hosted their monthly forum. The at-large commissioner joined other distinguished guests in the dialogue about education, small business opportunities, and transportation issues relevant to the Metro Atlanta region.
We talked about the wonderful opportunities, some of the challenges, the willingness of the political leadership to work together to make our county and our region, whether it's from a transportation or an education perspective, even better.
The National Black MBA Association Atlanta chapter focuses on education, professional development, and entrepreneurship, and is the largest chapter in the country. District 4 Commissioner Joan Garner participates in the annual prayer breakfast in memory of civil rights icon Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The commissioner joined the Atlanta North Georgia Labor Council AFL-CIO. Leaders from the business, political, religious, labor, and civil rights community all came together to honor Dr. King's life's work.
We have to remember that all people need to have a voice. All people should be heard. And again, the work of Dr. King and many civil rights activists who really dedicated their lives to making sure that there is justice for all people and justice in our communities.
This was the 13th year of the prayer breakfast tribute honoring the civil rights icon. And finally, Commissioner Emma I. Darnell formally celebrates the new traffic signal along what was once one of the most dangerous intersections in South Fulton. The District 6 representative, along with Fulton's Public Works team, commemorated the new safety feature at the Campbellton, Fairburn, and Ridge Road intersection.
It's about community and government coming together to protect and preserve the safety of people. And we talk that talk a lot, but it's very seldom that we see a more dramatic example of it actually working. And we want to continue to do these kinds of projects.
Residents in the nearby subdivisions had been asking for the traffic light following numerous bad accidents, several of which were fatal.
Well, it means that we've saved lives. You know, it means that the government listened to us. Our leaders cared about what we were concerned about and responded, and I am thrilled. We are thrilled.
The light was activated just before the Christmas holiday season. And when we come back, the human trafficking survivor who now is working on behalf of other victims. Stay with us. This week, we take another look at the issue of human trafficking as a part of Human Trafficking Awareness Month. Well, today, we want to introduce you to a survivor who is now focused on helping to save other lives. FGTV's Lynn Vaughn has our story.
The money that I was getting from the men allowed me to put food on my table. It allowed me to make sure that we had lights and water at 11 and 12 years old.
Dorsey Jones, who was able to escape sexual exploitation, is hoping her story will prevent others from going down that path.
What it taught me was this is a way that I can help my family. So when I turned 12 years old, I had already slept with at least 250 men in my community. It wasn't because this is something that I wanted to do. It was something that I had to do.
With the support of her community, Jones received her education and now works with YouthSpark and the Salvation Army's Haven, Atlanta to fight sex trafficking.
What we do is young women who have been caught in the life, they come there as a safe haven to learn skills to better themselves, to be more productive, and we provide counseling and life support, Bible study, liturgical dance, just things to empower them.
Jones says traffickers lure in children, but there are warning signs parents should heed. Be on the lookout if your children begin receiving expensive gifts from new friends. Take notice if they suddenly get a tattoo. Recruiters also lure in victims with promises of becoming a model or a rapper.
We want it to go away, but realistically, I can't say that it's going to go away, but what I can say is I can fight until I lose conscience and die.
If you also want to help in the fight against sex trafficking, visit the website youth-spark.org. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Lynn Vaughn.
This week, we joined the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women campaign, and we're encouraging everyone to wear red. The association says heart disease is the #1 killer of women, killing more than all forms of cancers combined. But you can reduce your risk by taking the free personal heart score and getting a custom health plan that will help reduce your risk. The Healthy Heart Coalition of Fulton County says avoiding trans fats like fried foods and margarine is a good place to start.
A healthy diet includes eating as many fruits and vegetables as possible, and we recommend certainly at least 5 fruits and vegetables a day. And that's so important to have a plant-based diet, because what we're finding out from our partners and physicians is that that really does help to reduce the chances of having heart disease.
You can get more tips and take the free heart assessment at heart.org/Atlanta. And remember, don't forget to wear your red for National Wear Red Day and bring awareness to heart disease. Fulton's workforce is working to give the Red Cross some much-needed blood donations. Currently, the Red Cross is under an urgent need of blood. County workers help relieve some of that burden by donating blood at the South Fulton Service Center. Red Cross workers collected 16 pints.
I would encourage everyone to do it who can, because you never know when you need it, and if we all have extra blood that we don't need, we might as well give it to somebody who needs it. It could be life-saving.
It's not hard to do. You just come in and fill out a form or two, and that's about all it takes.
The American Red Cross is the nation's largest blood collection organization, supplying approximately 40% of blood products used in the country. The Red Cross collects 5.6 million blood donations each year. If you are able to donate, go to redcrossblood.org for more information. And still to come, art and aviation. Stay with us. Library patrons take a pause from talking about fun things to deal with a very serious issue: becoming a victim of identity fraud. A regional fraud investigator gave a free identity theft prevention session at the Mechanicsville Branch Library. A number of the participants were a part of the Grandparents Raising Grandchildren support group, which actually meets at that particular branch. Now, the organizer says this group in particular is at risk.
The elderly population in the state of Georgia is just targeted for so many different fraud scams, and they become victims so often of financial exploitation. So I think it was good for them to hear those things so they could learn about what to look for and how they could better protect themselves from being a victim in the future.
You can protect yourself regularly from identity theft by checking your mail so that it doesn't get stolen or misplaced. You can also look out for unsolicited mail like credit card and loan payment bills. Also, check your credit score 3 times a year. The Bureau of Justice Statistics says 17.6 million people in the U.S. were victims of identity theft in 2014. And finally, there is a new exhibit that explores the artistic side of aviation. Flightline is a collection of abstract photographs of flying machines. The Atlanta artist John SLEMP explores aircraft as art through the various textures, colors, patterns, and shapes at the Fulton Aviation Community Cultural Center.
From far away, when you look at an aircraft, they all look the same. They look like they came off the same exact production line, but when you get up close, each individual aircraft, even if it's the same model and type, they have their own personalities.
SLEMP has been a photographer for more than 20 years. He started his passion for taking pictures while stationed in Germany during his time in the Army. Now, this exhibit runs until April 8th at the Aviation Community Cultural Center. You can go to fultonarts.org to get more information. And before we go, our reminder that we'd like to connect with you online. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, anytime on our YouTube channel. Well, that does it for this edition of Fulton Today. I'm Shania Chavis-Rucker. Thank you so much for watching. Join us each week for news around and about Fulton County.